Today we have Mr. Bill is the CEO of Walton Global Group. We are here today to bring up an excellent opportunity for Asia investor who really interesting with real estate investment in general and in the US specifically. So thank you for your time today, Bill. So let's have some market overview about real estate in the US right now. So what is the general trends in land investment? Like what is like for industrial, residential, or commercial right now in the U.S.?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about the Walton Group of companies, and in particular the United States. In terms of land and land investment, there's tremendous opportunities in the U.S. On the residential side, where Walton primarily focuses for our land acquisitions and our future and best use. There is a great demand for housing right across the United States. Where we tend to focus is on the southern half of the United States, but regardless, the demand is there. And the reason the demand is there is that there's an estimated shortage of residential units of anywhere from 2.2 million to 6 million units. With that added demand and the population of the millennials and Generation Z coming into their primary purchasing power years, there's going to be a great demand for residential housing on a go-forward basis. Our clients are builders. They buy our land, are the biggest national public builders in the United States, and they need to feed their own building machines. So that's on the residential side. Equally exciting is on the industrial side, really directed towards data centers. As we both know, there's a great need for data, not just in the U.S., but on a global basis. However, bringing it back to the United States, the big four, Google, Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft, and amongst other companies as well, have a demand for data centers. So we're doing a lot of business with many different data center development groups who are taking down large tracts of land, not just from us, but from other companies as well. We have a number of closings that have already happened and will be happening in the coming months and years ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that how say that recently I heard that Warren Buffett is like one of the talented investor in the world, that he invests like more like almost $300 million into D.R. Horton and Lena, which is like leading company construction about like residential house in there, and very long-term partner with Walton, right? And also that because like Trump get elected and he bring like all of the important industry back to America. So you was like mentioning about AI generation and like the industrial land and stuff like that. It's very promising. So how about inflation, interest rate, and economic recovery are shaping the market right now?
Well, yeah, you mentioned the Trump administration, and I have to tell you, there is a buzz in the United States. The optimism in the business community, not just in real estate development, be it residential, industrial, but all industry, is very excited. And what the Trump administration brings to the table is, one, business know-how. He's putting people in place at every single federal agency that understands business and how to get things done, and he's bringing common sense back to the way that the federal government should be governed. Along with that, he's opened up federal lands for gas and oil exploration, which is very important, because if we increase the supply of fossil fuels, that's the first input of anything that gets done economically, be it manufacturing, be it transportation, whatever the case may be. And if that cost comes down, all other costs will come down, including inflation. And what's going to follow are interest rates. And with lower cost of capital, businesses are going to go out and borrow money, and they're going to build their businesses. And that is particularly true of the real estate development and building industry. And for the consumers who end up buying the homes, because their mortgage rates are going to come down as well. So it's a very exciting time right now in the United States. Trump's policies are wildly popular in the United States, and the optimism for the next 4+ years is quite significant.
Okay, so I mean that I'll say we cannot deny that he is like the businessman, very successful one, right? So that could be like, is the topic today that we say that is like the really golden time for the investor who interesting in invest in the US. So another question, that what the key reason experiencing high demand for land development?
Well, the reason for that is because Donald Trump and his administration are encouraging investment, not just domestically amongst Americans. He's encouraging foreign investment. In the last 50 days, in his first 50 days of being in office, there's over $2 trillion of foreign committed investment coming into the United States, building data centers, building manufacturing facilities. And what does that do? What do you need to do that? You need land.
Yeah.
And you need land. And as well, they announced the environmental, the agency for the environment, they just announced massive deregulation to make it easier for individuals and for businesses to get their business done, to get to the market more quickly.
Oh.
And all this is going to do is increase the demand for land in order to do both residential and industrial development.
Yeah, and in our industry, like I'll say, it's a very big news out that he will sell the gold card with a $5 million to get directly to PR if the United States.
Isn't that brilliant?
No.
Isn't that just simply a great idea? What you're doing is you're inviting the wealthiest, most successful people and families to come to the United States. You're dealing directly with the U.S. government. You give the government $5 million. You get your green card, and you're on your pathway to citizenship.
Yeah.
And what these individuals are going to bring is their know-how, their ingenuity, and their capital.
Yeah.
And they're going to employ Americans and invest in America.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. And the idea behind it is to have up to 200,000 individuals each year to get these cards, which is equivalent of $1 trillion. And then you take that $1 trillion and you pay down the debt.
Yeah.
And the idea is that over the next 20 to 25 years, you eliminate the debt in the United States.
Yeah.
Which is simply brilliant. It
Wow.
really is.
Yeah, it's really smart with a long vision. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that you mentioned that dear Houghton, which is like create $1 billion US project with you guys and allow for offshore and inshore capital along the way. So what it could be, it could be the thing to make our investor feel like great about that.
Right. Well, we're very blessed. We're very blessed to have a client and an association with a great company like D.R. Horton. The individuals that run the company, not only at the top but at the regional and divisional level, are just a joy to work with, and they're professional, and yet they're humble, and they get things done at D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton, being a Fortune 120 company, they acquire up to $5 billion of land each and every year. And the objective between D.R. Horton and Walton is that we are going to finance up to 20% of those acquisitions each and every single year. And so what we've done on a global basis and within the United States is to secure capital in order to meet that demand and that wish by D.R. Horton. And so we have been able to secure funds from 3 institutions. One of those institutions is out of Chicago called Mesero. We have a commitment with each other to deploy $400 million. Another group is called Golden Tree. They're out of New York City, a hedge fund, about $50 to $60 billion in assets under management. They have committed $450 million to this program. And of course, the latest is BlackRock, which we're very excited about.
Yeah.
They've committed $100 million. They're tipping their toe in the water, candidly, to see if they'd like working with us and if they like the program. And we are co-investing alongside Golden Tree and BlackRock 10% of our capital. So $50 million co-invest with Golden Tree and $10 million co-invested with BlackRock.
Yeah.
But the added plus, the added benefit that should provide comfort to our investors into our funds in the United States and our funds globally is that these funds are able to co-invest right alongside Golden Tree and BlackRock.
Yeah.
And by co-investing, they're investing into exactly the same assets as these institutions are investing in, as my company's investing in, so is the capital onshore and offshore from the United States.
Yeah.
And it should provide a lot of comfort.
Yeah.
Meaning we're not cherry picking assets and keeping the best assets for ourselves.
Yeah.
Everybody's investing into exactly the same projects.
Yeah, I think that first of all, like they are tremendous and very famous with a huge history and track record on how to due diligence and audit a good project, right? And also, like, when you have the very strong capital capability, so which means you can acquire more and faster the good options, and then the investor they don't worry that so you go with like 10 million project and you need to have 20 investor, and how long you take all of those, right? But now the money are there and it's available, and the investor just along with the big guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, you're Annie. You're absolutely correct. And everybody's interests are aligned. No one group is ahead of another group. We're all in this together.
Wow, it's equally investment.
That's right.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And that I love in your formula, which is the ownership of the investor, and that is the super secure for the people for example like me, right? So I go to visit the real estate project. I see the land, I see the construction is ongoing and stuff like that. So I can touch it physically. So I wouldn't be so confident. But the investment is in the US half of the way, So which is what is any legal barrier there to make the foreigner to own the real estate, the land in the US right now?
Yeah, there are no barriers for foreigners to own real estate in the United States. And the way we invest through our funds and the way we structure our funds is to provide security and title ownership to the property. Best form of ownership is having a land title to the property. So through our funds, we have title ownership, free and clear of any debt. There's no financing on these properties whatsoever. When we're doing this program with a group like D.R. Horton, what happens is that when they take ownership back of the land, we then revert to a corporate guarantee from D.R. Horton. And D.R. Horton, again, a Fortune 120 company, they're an investment grade company. So they have a triple B plus with one rating agency and an A minus rating with another globally recognized rating agency. So it's very secure in that regard. And the other thing is you have Walton.
Yeah.
Walton is a U.S. company.
Yeah.
Walton has been doing business in Southeast Asia since 1992. We have offices in Hong Kong, Singapore, Taipei, Japan, and the Middle East. And eventually we will open up here in Vietnam.
Yeah.
However, the point being is that we are dedicated to this marketplace.
Yeah.
We haven't left in 33 plus years, and we have no intention of doing leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, so I mean that your company almost as my age. So I want to live long. Yeah.
Oh, that hurts because I was the one who originally opened up these offices 33 years ago.
Really? Yes, so why you look still so good?
Stop it.
Okay. I mean that with all the great information that we just shared, so I mean that for now, for real estate market in Vietnam, at some point they have twice or third times in very short time, but it's past. And for them when they invest into the real estate in Walton. So I see that the offer is 8%.
Yes.
And also, like, the inflation gap between USD and Vietnam dong, so it's equal to about, I think, the 12% per year. But for real estate, someone big investor, they want to play like bigger game, more risk, more return, and stuff like that. So beside the offer of the 8% per year, do you have any offshore options for the investor who want to be an equity investor? Yeah.
Certainly. So firstly, on the income products that we offer, please understand that those income products are set up in such a way that when the profit leaves the United States, there is no tax in the United States. There's no withholding tax. So that 8% is a real 8% coming back into the home jurisdiction. Now, the home jurisdiction, if it's in Vietnam, and if there's tax here that has to be charged, then it has to be charged. For example, in Singapore and Hong Kong, when those funds come back, there is no tax. So it's a real 8% after tax and after fees going back to both Hong Kong and Singapore. However, to your question, if people are looking for higher returns, yes, we do have growth investments as well, which is going directly into land. And those are typically anywhere from 15% to 18% projected returns. Now, the idea behind it is that you buy the land, we work to get the legal entitlements or zoning in place, and then at some point in the future, usually beginning in year 3 or 4, we start cash flowing on those properties. But overall, it's a 15 to 18% return.
Ah, okay. But like it's for offshore also?
Oh, absolutely.
Ah, okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, so because since you have like so many years established the business in Asia in general, and now you come to Vietnam, so welcome first. And so I know that because like sometimes I feel like Vietnam is behind Singapore or China for like 10, 20, 30 years.
Sure.
So I think that it's very good information that I want to ask and extract from you, that what is the insight of the investor from Singapore, from Hong Kong, from China when they come to Walton?
Well, we started in Hong Kong in 1992 and we began in Singapore in 1996. We have long-standing, loyal business relationships with wealth management, individuals and firms. And we have a long-standing relationship with tens of thousands of clients in both Singapore and Hong Kong. What people are looking for that we find is that they're looking for an opportunity to diversify their portfolio with a asset manager that has experience, which we do in the land business. And we have a proven track record. From Hong Kong and Singapore, we have expanded. We expanded into Malaysia. We expanded into Taiwan. We expanded into Japan and eventually Dubai. Our next move coming into Vietnam is quite natural. The fastest growing economy in all of Asia is Vietnam, and has been for a number of years, and is projected to go out for a number of years as well. And the connectivity and the history between Vietnam and the United States is very strong. There's many Vietnamese that live in the United States. And the fourth largest trading partner of the United States, believe it or not, is Vietnam.
Wow.
You have China, you have Mexico, you have the EU, and then you have Vietnam.
Wow, I'm so proud.
Oh yeah, you should be. And the skyline here in Ho Chi Minh changes every gosh darn year. And even though Vietnam is a communist country, it is the most capitalistic communist country I've ever been to in my life. Everybody is in business and they're entrepreneurial. And it's such a joy to be a part of. And our intention is to come into this market, plant our seeds, grow, and expand.
I mean that how say that Vietnam, we are famous with like young, vibe, dynamic, and like entrepreneur mind and stuff like that. And I'm really proud that I am Vietnamese and we have that same vibe. And by the way, that when our country is like still fast developed, and which means that somehow make like economics gonna be like growth. So why you think that the investor from Vietnam should choose invest in the US right now or wait, like get the opportunity here in our country before come to United States?
Well, but my perspective and Walton's perspective is this: it's not either or, it's and. You do both. The idea of investing is to have a diversified portfolio, and no one individual nor corporation should put all their eggs into one basket. And so the opportunity is, you're here in Vietnam, be a part of this growth and this dynamic economy that is developing rapidly, and in fact probably do most of what you need to do here in Vietnam.
Yeah.
But there should be a portion looking to diversify out of Vietnam.
Yeah.
Look at other countries, and I seriously mean this.
Yeah.
Look at the United States. I say that biasly, but I say that seriously. It's the largest economy in the world, and it's going to continue to be the largest economy for many, many years to come. But also look at Australia.
Yeah.
Look at Canada. Look at Europe. Look at the UK.
Yeah.
Look at diversifying into other countries as well.
Yeah, so I think that is like a very good advising from someone very, have like long history about, investment experience. Thank you so much for that. So, okay. So we got some final insight to close the discussion. So, okay, so what is the common mistake to avoid when you invest into the land?
Well, the common mistake to avoid is to make sure that you're not investing in non-growth jurisdictions. And I'll tell you, we've made that mistake. We've been around for 46 years. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything we've done has turned to gold. We've had our challenges, and it takes longer time and longer time in terms of real time, but putting more time into the project in order to make it work. So my advice is very simple. Make sure the jurisdiction that you're placing your capital in land into is a pro-growth jurisdiction. For jurisdictions that are not pro-growth, we stay away from. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
We want to go into jurisdictions that want people to invest money into land, that jurisdictions that want to help you get the necessary approvals because they want you to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of jurisdictions all across the United States that want exactly that.
Yeah.
That's where we put our capital, and that's where we put our focus.
Yeah, so I think that is the sweet thing of partnership with like long history of company like you do, to make sure that the first step of them overseas is gonna be not a wrong one.
Right.
So I know that Walton built up the portfolio of investor, which is some of them with you for decades. So they invest into your project and then they feel comfortable, they get the benefit, and then they become partner to you. So I love that, because me myself, that I'm always looking for long-term vision of partnership. So thank you so much for your time today and a great information that you provide, and hopefully that we could help some investor from Vietnam to get into the real estate market in the US very soon.
Well, thank you, Annie, and I've enjoyed this conversation very much, and we look forward to working with you and your colleagues and your clients on a go-forward basis.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.